Hi everyone. So I've been using S24 Ultra for quite some time now. I wasn't feeling well, so I couldn't make the impression video of this phone, but I think that gave me a little bit more time and that has changed my perspective a little bit. But is it still worth the extra price or should you get the last year S23 Ultra? But before talking about that, I want to talk about why I even went with the Ultra this year. As many of you know who follow me, I don't like large phone. I usually go for smaller phone like 15 Pro, and last year I was using S23. I go for Pixel 8 rather than Pixel 8 Pro. But the problem is, like many of you know, that Samsung went with Exynos 2400 except for I think US, Canada, and China. And my previous experience with Exynos hasn't been great. So that's where S24 Ultra comes into the picture. I'm happy that Samsung get rid of the curved corners. Yes, there was a time when it felt nice and premium, but it is so common and not practical. It is hard to find screen protectors and it makes the display more fragile. The glare on the curved glass is also really bad. I'm not going to talk about the titanium in the S24 Ultra because on iPhone it made sense because they were coming from the stainless steel and it has reduced the weight to I think 10% where the phone actually feels lighter. But in this case, I think the weight is basically similar. It's like 1 or 2 grams less. But the one thing that is really good on this phone is going to be the weight distribution. If you watched my S23 Ultra review, I called that an uncomfortable beast. But this time, the weight distribution on this phone is on point. The S24 Ultra, despite being similar size, the weight does feel lighter. Sure, the corners are still sharp, but with a thin case like this, it makes it way more comfortable to hold, and overall, I did not find any difficulties while using this phone. Don't get me wrong, it is still a huge phone, and putting it into tight pockets or small pockets will be a challenge. But to actually use it, I feel it really comfortable to the point where I'm okay enabling one hand mode if I don't want to use my second hand while typing. But you do need a case because this phone is hella slippery. Also, it is easier to click the power button when you're actually trying to press the volume down button because my hands are smaller and it is a little bit of task for me. By the way, I got this titanium blue color. This is online exclusive and you can find it in some Samsung cafe as well. But the other four color where you can find it offline and online, I don't really like them. I actually really like my titanium color on this iPhone, but the titanium gray on the S24 Ultra was not really appealing to me. I don't know, it's personal choice, but I don't like that reflective light on the back of the S24 Ultra. So I went with this one. I actually wanted to go with orange, but I did not watch any video while I was pre-booking, but I actually think that is the best color out of those all exclusive color, and this is my second favorite. One more thing that is great about this phone, which Samsung did not highlight but the whole Twitter did, was the anti-reflective coating. Yes, it works great, but it comes with a cost. No, I'm not talking about the muted colors. I think it is because of a software bug. I think one of the YouTuber already discovered that. I'm talking about the color shift on a white background. It is not a big deal, but I do notice it time to time. I also feel the oleophobic coating took a hit after this. I'm not sure because of this Gorilla Glass armor, but I see way more fingerprint than I used to on a Samsung phone. But otherwise, I prefer these muted colors. I don't know why. I'm really okay with the tuning as compared to the previous generation. I like how photos look on this phone, and I can actually see that this is the photos that are going to come out on my actual screen. So I'm okay with that. It is also a much brighter display, which can go up to 2600 nits. I know these are numbers, but you can actually see the difference. Also, with that anti-reflective coating, it's much easier to see outside. Also, the PWM flickering has been fixed a little bit. I mean, it's not up to like those 1+20, 160 hertz, but on iPhone, it's 480 and this is 496. I read it somewhere, like I am not 100% sure, but I think the people who can actually notice it, you can let me know in the comment box if it is actually fixed on S24 Ultra. Overall, it is a great display for media consumption paired with the really great speakers. Here is the comparison against 15 Pro. The haptics are still meh, and again, not because of the haptic engine. I just want more feedback baked into one UI like Pixel and Color OS. There is also a new always on display just like iPhone which shows full wallpaper. And just like iPhone, I don't use it except on tap on show. I'm not going to talk about the performance graph because you will find it everywhere. I'm also not talking about the AI because it's everywhere on the title of the video. I think it was in contract with Samsung. But there are some cool stuff. I like how Note can be formatted nicely and it will give you that header and bullet points. No, I was genuinely impressed at first. I even like how it summarized stuff. But my issue right now is that only works with Samsung specific apps, which is fair. I get it. Samsung wants to push it with the Samsung apps more, like you have to use the Samsung Internet Browser if you want to summarize a page, or Samsung Notes, or even want to use the Samsung Gallery. But the thing is, I use Google Apps everywhere because I use Mac, I use iPhone. So if you are multi-platform, you want to use a common service, and these things do not work there. So every time I have to use these things, I have to copy my notes from Google Keep and put it to Samsung Notes to make it work. It works fine right now. I don't know how much I'm gonna use it later because of this effort. The intelligence that work with photo requires the internet connection. I also tried it to use it with light profile mode and it didn't work. So I have to use it in a standard mode. See, these things work fine. I actually like all of these features, like where you want can remaster the image if you want to move stuff. It actually works faster than Pixel 8 series. But the thing is, this is not going to be free after 2025. So that's another thing you need to think about. You also have the new HDR everywhere. You can get it in the gallery, you can get it while clicking the picture, you can post it on Instagram. But I'm done with it. I mean, it's great when I'm watching something on TV because the room is a little bit more bright. But on a phone, when you're scrolling on Instagram at night, like that high brightness, especially with this 2600 nit sort of screen, or they are reaching to like 4000, 4500. It's not great. I literally want my eyes to be okay. I want to watch the world with my own eyes without the screen. So I really don't want HDR on my phone anymore. But except that the software experience is much more better now. Like One UI 6.1 feels so much more smooth than it was on One UI 5 or One UI 6. Yes, you will get it on S23 as well, but what you won't get there is 7 years of software update. Did I tell you the scrolling has gotten much better as well? It used to be fast and stuttery on Android phones, but now it feels smooth. So the overall software experience has been so much better. Oh, one more thing. There is also an S Pen here. I mean, if you're someone like me who's not going to use it, I just want you to take it out, play it like this, put it back. Because I remember I had Note 5 and I did not take out the S Pen for 6 months. It got stuck there. Now let's talk about the weakest part of this phone, the cameras. Yes, you're right, I'm talking about the cameras on this phone. I think after S21, I haven't seen a great improvement in camera in Samsung phones. I'm not talking about the hardware, I'm talking about the software processing. Yes, the shutter speed has been improved a little bit on S24 Ultra, but I still think the overall processing or the camera details are just meh on this phone. But let's talk about the photos first. I've taken a lot of shots with S24 Ultra and some of them turned out really great. I really like the new edition of 5X. The problem with the 5X is going to be the lack of details, and there is going to be a little bit overexposure. You will also see the shutter speed issue as well in 5X, but somehow I still prefer it over 10X on S23 Ultra, which I didn't use as much. If this go to the 10X, the quality is meh at best. But yeah, the 5X is still usable, especially in the good lighting. Even in low lighting, I think it still performs better than the 3X. So I like that addition. But you will see a lot of overexposure issue going on like S23 Ultra, but these are inconsistent. In some photos, you'll see that there is a lot of highlight issue, and in some of the photos, you'll see the picture is really dark, which has never been the case with S23. In the low light, you'll also see sometime noise and sometimes it's going to be a really good picture. So yeah, the camera is not very consistent. This was never an issue with S23 Ultra. Yes, I didn't like the processing there as well. It was oversaturated. So I think the color science is a little bit better, but the camera is very inconsistent right now. So I wouldn't recommend this phone for just camera. Videos are almost same as last year, but now you can record at 4K 120 if you use the Pro mode, and you can also use 4K 16 every single lens while recording. You don't have to stop the video to change the lens, so that's a good thing. This is the camera recording from the rear camera. Now I'm recording in ultra wide. You can switch between any lens right now. I really like the stabilization. Let me switch between lenses. This is supposed to be more smooth. This is 1x, 3x, 5x and 10x. It's hard to record in 10x until your hands are smooth, but if you're walking, it's going to be really shaky. So I'll go back to 1x. Yes, the lens switching is much smoother. You can see the HDR. I like the greens. They're a slightly bit oversaturated, Actually, no, I think it's just the sun. You can see the HDR. This is 4K 60, which will be toned down to 4K 30. So this is the camera recording from the front. I'm recording at 4K 60. I'm going to bring it out to 4K 30, but you can see the stabilization, the HDR. Sorry for my hair, it was very windy. But the quality looks really good. Like I said, in S23 Ultra, this is one of the best phone you can use for your vlogging. Battery life is kind of similar for me like S23 Ultra, but I know it's going to get much better. And after the learning pattern, I can easily get around 2 days. So I think the battery life has been really good because I'm not a heavy user. I don't play games. For me, it can easily last over 2 days. And even if I'm using cameras, I don't have to worry about it dying like with any other phone. So I think this is the best battery life phone I've used because I haven't used any iPhone Pro Max phone ever. The 45-watt wired charging also works great for me. I'm coming from iPhone and Pixel phones and they are usually like 25, 27 or 30 watt at best. So for me, this is actually fast. I know there are a lot of faster standards, but I think for PD 45, this works great for me. And I think I usually charge it from 30 to 100%. It usually take around 40 to 45 minutes, which is perfectly fine for me. So what is my overall conclusion? I'm definitely enjoying this phone. This weight distribution is much better, but it's still a big phone. And the most of the thing I like about this phone, it comes from the One UI 6.1 and the software experience, which you will get on S23 series. So even though it's a great phone, there is nothing exciting about it. So if you can wait on your S23, with the One UI 6.1, you're definitely going to enjoy that phone as well. But if you're coming from an older generation like S22 Ultra or previous one, because most of them were even Snapdragon without the TSMC architecture, this is a great phone to buy. I can easily recommend this phone. Yes, the cameras are, I think, still behind iPhone and Pixel. Yes, even iPhone, because with the 15 series, they are much better in details and the HDR has been improved as well. Samsung needs to work on the processing and everything. But apart from camera, I think this is one of the best phone I've used ever. I mean, it has less bugs than my iPhone 15 Pro, which didn't used to happen with a Samsung phone. I still like the Pixel experience more, but with the Snapdragon, I think this is going to be the most balanced experience you can find in any smartphone right now. Do let me know about your thoughts on S24 series. Did you get any phone? If yes, which one? And if you're still confused about something, you can ask about it in the comment box or you can just follow me on Twitter. Please like this video if you actually enjoyed it and if you're still here. And subscribe if you want me to compare my S24 Ultra with iPhone 15 Pro. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then.